Duet Night Abyss has just released, and with it, hundreds of hours of gameplay, all for you to enjoy for free. And since it's not a gacha game anymore, most of the traps and pitfalls that you could fall into with resource management just don't apply anymore. But with that said, some systems surrounding the game can be pretty confusing if you don't have a PhD. So today I'm going to give you guys the basic rundown of everything you need to know about Duet Night Abyss. My name is Braxophone, but you can call me Brax, and this is my beginner's guide to Duet Night Abyss. Also, if you can't tell, I'm a little sick right now, so forgive me if I'm not the most enthusiastic. Duet Night Abyss plays a lot like Warframe in that your main gameplay loop consists of story, farmable activities, co-op, and free activities. I'm not going to go over the story because spoilers. Instead, I'm just going to talk about the progression system, which is one of my favorites. Because they made literally every character and weapon obtainable via gameplay in Duet Night Abyss, a lot of us will probably spend most of our time doing co-op missions or farming for character shards in single player. There's no limits on how much you can farm or how often, except for the weekly boss limits, but I don't really count those because that's like a very small portion of the game. And if you want to be maxed out and very powerful, you will be playing a lot, because there's more progression milestones in this game than there is Vivian R34. First off, you get the shards to create the character. Then you get 3 pieces to a weapon and a weapon blueprint in order to craft the weapon. Then you get shards for the character 6 more times to max their copies. You also have to max out the character's skills, which are each individually going to take a lot of items. Then you'll need to get copies for the weapon, where you'll need 15 more pieces and 5 more blueprints. And that's not even mentioning the demon wedges, which you'll want to collect 8 of for the character, melee weapon, and ranged weapon, which I forgot to mention, you'll want to build 6 of the same ranged weapon too. If the character has a consonance weapon, which is a weapon that comes with their kit, you'll want wedges for that as well. And if you max out a demon wedge, you can farm copies of it to push it past its limits even further, which in order to really take advantage of, you'll also want to enhance the different demon wedge tracks to allow you to slot more power-ups.
Wow, Max, that really does sound like a lot of fucking progression.
I'm not done. There are also Geniemons, which are collectible monsters that can enhance your characters and teams even further by giving them buffs with a passive and activating their active ability to do damage or gain sanity or whatever they do. You can also limit break Geniemons for higher stats, and you can have Geniemons consume other Geniemons to inherit their traits, leading to a ton of min-maxing potential within just the monster capturing of the game. All of this is to say that I hope you really like the character you pick, because you're in for a very long ride. Some of the characters are really great and worth farming for, and some of them are randy. One other thing of note with characters is that they need materials to ascend and grow, and if you don't know where to get items for a character, you can always just click on that item and it'll show you the location of those items and how to get them. Overall, if you're trying to become more powerful, your gameplay loop is a lot like RuneScape. Get to a certain level to make grinding something else easier, so that way you can grind that thing faster to get to another quest or unlock, so that way you can grind another thing easier to make yourself strong enough to grind another thing. But trust me guys, it's rewarding, I swear. This game is great for people who like hard work and delayed gratification, so essentially not gacha players. I really hope a lot of you guys in the audience actually enjoy this game, because I think a lot of people who only played gacha games have really been missing out on a game that you can just really sink your teeth into for a long period of time. But I don't know, maybe I'm just old and that's not how we do things anymore. Anyways, back to the script. Also, just because I haven't mentioned it, there's also character-specific weapon specializations, meaning that certain characters do want to use specific weapon types. You can find them here in your character menu, and when you go to sort through your weapons, if you click this little icon down at the bottom of the screen, it'll put a visual indicator next to the category that's good for your character. The amount of effort you put into a character in Duet Night Abyss really shows, because with this much investment opportunity, you can truly become like the Great Gatsby or something. I don't know, probably just as depressed too. It really does pay off though, because the more investment you put in, the easier content gets and the higher level content you can challenge. Also, you can flex. But that brings me to the next topic, which is investment style. In some games where you build up characters and weapons, you can horizontally invest across multiple units to be flexible in new content. But after playing Duet Night Abyss in previous betas, I highly recommend vertically investing. And no, I don't just mean playing someone tall. Taking one character that you really like the playstyle or aesthetics of and maxing them out is much more effective than spreading your investment across multiple characters, because you only on-field one character at a time. There is the issue of trial level, which to increase that you may need to invest in multiple different things, but generally speaking, one strong Baranica is better than a bunch of kind of strong characters that you only play one of at a time. Oh, also, fun fact, there are loadouts for characters, demon wedges, and just about everything else, so you can fully customize everything you put on your characters and have it swap instantly. But that's probably something you won't use towards the start of the game, which allows you to deploy multiple other characters that you set up with their own weapons. There is a cool feature though called Tactical Backpack. This can be very useful in other content, and eventually having characters built to assist you along the way will increase not only your damage output, but also the size of your PP. I've talked a lot about what you should be doing, but I haven't showed you how, so here's how I recommend farming for gear and characters. When you speak with Snow in the Sanctuary, or click on this combat button in your menu, she brings up a day planner, commissions, nocturnal echoes, and echoes of missteps. I'll talk about the day planner among other things later, but commissions and nocturnal echoes are the main thing you'll want to pay attention to. Commissions have many different types. Regular commissions are for leveling resources and crafting materials. Noctoyager Manual is for general demon wedge blueprints that can be useful on many different characters. Covert commissions are for character shards, weapon pieces and blueprints, and demon wedge blueprints. And bounty commissions are for more demon wedges that are easier to obtain than some other methods, but are limited to 3 weekly. If you're trying to get a character or weapon, you'll want to do covert commissions and bring what's called a secret letter. Secret letters are what allows special drops to be targeted on missions, so if you farm for a character or copies of them, you'll need a letter for it. You can get some of the letters from Nocturnal Echoes, which are weekly boss fights, and others from other game modes specified by the character or the in-game shop. The shop has a majority of them, and you purchase the secret letters with an in-game item called clues. You need 10 clues for one letter, and they're obtained as drops from enemies on specific missions, as well as in various menus of the game. The way I think about it is, everything that would have given you a premium currency in the gacha version of this game will now give you clues instead. When you're actually going through covert commissions, the fastest way to farm is usually on kill missions like expulsion, capture, and other things of the like. Though excavation allows you to do multiple missions in a row, at least when it's solo, it's very slow. Multiplayer also makes runs much faster. Some characters are better for farming than others, and you can even equip movement speed demon wedges and Geniemon to improve your clear speed. Overall, the secret letters you use will feel very expensive in the long run as well, but luckily early on in the game, there are a ton of clues fed to you through different systems. For example, that day planner I mentioned earlier is a huge source of clues. Every day you log in, you'll get 15 for just playing through certain daily challenges in the memo tab. On top of that, the beginner's guide tab will have tons of great rewards that are worth going for, and all give clues as well. In addition to that tab, the archive will give you tons of clues for collecting characters, weapons, items, etc. The Demon Wedge casket menu will also give a lot of clues for completing challenges revolving around demon wedges. Quests will give tons of rewards, including clues as well. And lastly, getting to know your characters better in the Ripples of Talk tab will also give you clues. You can find clues in most areas of the game, including when using secret letters or just defeating enemies in commissions. Overall, they may seem lacking in number, but you can farm them infinitely, so there are no true walls to getting characters, weapons, and demon wedges except for weekly boss limits. Even with a weekly limit though, there are no limits to what I'd let Sybil do to me. If you're ever lost, I recommend just going through your beginner's guide though, since that's a great source of progression rewards. I've talked a lot about demon wedges, but I never actually mentioned what they are or what they do, so I'll go over those next. Demon wedges are essentially like mods from Warframe. They add different stats and sometimes have bonus effects. You can stack up different effects in demon wedges to make your character and your weapon stronger, but you can only have one specific type of a wedge equipped at a time. There are different wedges for characters, weapons, and specific ones for specific elemental types. For example, some wedges may have a similar effect to another, but can only be equipped by an Umbro character or a Lumino character. There are also demon wedges that are generally good and work on multiple types of characters. Many of these come from the Noctoyager manual, with the stronger ones being available later on in the game. My favorite is Wings Inspo, which increases your max sanity and skill efficiency and works on virtually every character. Some of the wedges you get are from clues in the shop, and those tend to be more focused on specific element types of characters. A lot of them are very strong, and you'll likely need to do some covert commissions to get them. You'll also want to craft multiple of them, since you can limit break them at their max level to increase their strength even further. If you don't know where to get some of the items to craft demon wedges, just click or tap on the missing items and it'll show you where they come from. Luckily, this game also has demon wedge loadouts, so that way you can have presets for farming content and different presets for harder content that are easy to swap between. Overall, demon wedges will be where you spend a lot of your time in this game, but I actually like the system a lot, despite how grindy it can be. I really like how modular the game is, with effects like attack speed, skill duration, attack range, jump speed, all sorts of different stuff just to make things wacky and cool and power up your characters. The other thing we really should talk about in this guide is Geniemon. The game gives you a pretty thorough tutorial of them, but I want to give you an example of what these things can actually do. Geniemon are like Pokemon, where you can find them them in the world and capture them. But the capture mechanics are closer to Pal World, meaning that this game will probably get sued too. To capture a Geniemon, you have to feed them, and depending on the tier of feed that you use, you can have an increased success rate. It's an easy system, and forging them doesn't take any crazy materials. Geniemon have special abilities, one passive, one active. Sometimes the passive will do things like increase your damage dealt for characters under a specific type. Sometimes the active will give you sanity, things like that. They also have progression just like characters, except to ascend a Geniemon, you need to use Yum Yum Milk, which comes from the endgame immersive theater, which I haven't unlocked on this beta account, but I will make updated videos on that later. The only other thing left to talk about in this video would be gacha, but I'm gonna be honest guys, it's all cosmetic, all the rates are there in-game, and I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. You pull the slots for a chance to win, and if you get duplicates, you can actually go spend a currency that the duplicates will give you in the shop to buy other cosmetics. If you guys want an in-depth guide on the gacha system in this game, I suppose I could do one, but I don't feel like it's important enough to put in this video.
Gamble idiots.
Anyways, that was a ton of information, so let's sum it up. What should you be doing every single day? Well, you don't have to do anything. It's not a gacha game. There's no stamina. Do whatever you want. Technically, there are dailies, but if you miss your daily quests, you don't miss permanent progression except for some trial XP, since the items are all infinitely farmable. But I'm gonna be honest, the trial XP part isn't even that big of a deal anyways. This game respects your time by allowing you to play when you want and how you want, which means your trial level can increase fairly quickly. So I highly recommend not succumbing to the pressure and just playing this game as you enjoy it. And if all else fails, there's always fishing.